Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning, khush amdeed. Ji ayanu, goedemorgen, ishpata.
Bakher Agale, Ni Hao, Tuna Shumme, Washmale, Ohio, Guzaimes, Guten Morgen, Hola, Bonjour, Privyet, Kaifa Hal, Hale Shuma Chatore, Ahlan Vasalan Marhaba, Buna, Mucho, Gracias, Swabia, Bhalli Keraya. And thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning into PTV World. You're watching World this morning alongside the very distorted vocal person, Shazad Hassan Khan, and the very amazing Shiza Hashmi. Hello, Shiza, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great,
Good
thank you for
morning.
asking. Good morning. Yeah, what's with your throat?
Well, I think, ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm going to give it away to everybody who's out there as well that, since we all know that we are in this phase of transition from winters to summers, and, in between the day, it's so sunny that you really feel like having or drinking cold water.
Oh, same here.
So please don't do that, because otherwise this is what's going to happen to you as well. I'm glad that finally I can talk, and which is why, I wasn't on the show even yesterday as well. But please make sure that you don't make this very stupid mistake of drinking cold water, because otherwise, it's going to get to your throat and then you won't be able to speak at all.
Well, yes, Shazad, I feel like it's sort of an urge every now and then, right? With the weather change as well.
Yeah.
So I'm just sitting randomly and I feel like, oh, I want to have a juice or I want to have a drink with a lot of ice cubes in it. And I do it. Thank
Yeah.
God, like it's not hurting my throat yet, but I mean, just this morning I had a slight flu, kind of like my eyes and nose was watery.
All right.
But here's the thing, that does happen. The thing is, ladies and gentlemen, you should not sort of confuse the weather change and, all the sort of diseases or the conditions related to it with the COVID-19, because I tell you what, it's still there. And just yesterday they said that, well, a third wave is expected.
Exactly.
It's all because of the early restrictions, lifting of restrictions as well. And I think yesterday one of the matches got suspended as well, was it?
Exactly, because one of the team players actually tested positive for COVID as well, which is why they now came out with a solution that after every 4 days, the testing will be done of the players as well, which I believe is great. And not just that, I want to take you back to where you said that you want a lot of ice cubes in your glass as well. So, were you always that sort of kid who will actually in the middle of the day run towards the freezer, get an ice cube, just put it in the mouth, play with it, and just be like, okay, it's very hot outside?
No, no, not that, but I'm like, I really, really always want a lot of ice cubes in my drink. Always, always. Even if I'm having water in summer, I do want to add a lot of ice cubes. Not to eat them, but probably in terms of eating, there's one thing I used to do. So, well, get a cup of, well, a plastic
And
cup.
just fill it up.
No, not fill it up. Go to the freezer, and on the sides where the, where there's frozen ice and whatnot. So just sort of rub the cup on it, fill it with the ice, and then sprinkle your favorite flavor on it. Like sometimes Rooh Afza for that matter.
Yeah. Well, I think that was the only flavor we had very handy in our houses as
I
well.
had a lot of them, but yes.
Other flavors, I doubt that as well. Or probably Tang. I think Tang would do a wonderful
Tang
job.
is nice.
But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, today I think we have a very fantastic show lined up for you, and there's a reason, because the kind of people who have actually joined us on this show are going to give us something which we never expected. But before we do that,
Yes, it's such an
there's a
important
very
day.
important announcement which we really need to make as well, and that is that it happens to be the death anniversary of Nasir Kazmi Saab, who happens to be one of our best poets as well, in fact, of the subcontinent. And
Yes.
speaking about him, ladies and gentlemen, this is the 49th death anniversary of the renowned poet Raza Kazmi Saab. Jinko commonly we know him as Nasir Kazmi.
Yes, and Shazad, he was born on the 8th of December in 1925 in, of course, the British India then. And he studied his high school in Ambala and Shimla, which is now a part of India.
And Shiza, after partition, he settled in Lahore and took up the position of an editor for Urdu journals Aurake Nau and Humayun.
And then, of course, I mean, later on, he became a part of Radio Pakistan as well. And he kept writing, and he is renowned for a lot of his honorary, publications for Pakistan in their newspapers and whatnot.
Exactly. And so, sir, may your soul rest in peace as well. And we still cherish the kind of work you've given us or you left behind for us as well.
Absolutely.
And I think and I believe that everybody who wants to be a poet today cannot be one until unless he's read your work as well, or she has read your work. So this is very important, ladies and gentlemen, to celebrate all of those people who've contributed in any way.
Yes, absolutely. And Shazad, we love doing that, right? I mean, it's PTV, and being a part of PTV, we love celebrating our national heroes and remembering them, commemorating their work as well. But now back to where you said that today we're going to have an amazing show. I'm not going to give it all away. I leave that to Shazad. But from this segment, from this particular segment, it's really interesting for us both because it's sort of a first time we came across this kind of thing. So it's we have definitely come across these things separately, but all of this in a blend, and then that too being carried out by such little stars. I think we're really excited to
Exactly.
to get
So I'm going to
this.
take you back in time when Karate Kid was released, ladies and gentlemen, and how everybody was so excited to see the film. Where it was Will Smith's son who actually gave a phenomenal performance. It's what a talented boy he is.
Crazy.
So imagine something of that sort being picturized in Pakistan with Pakistani kids who happen to be karate experts, and that's not just the only reason. So there's this film, ladies and gentlemen, with the name of Azan, which is going to be in the making in near future as well. The cast has been finalized. We are very lucky that we have been joined by the cast as well. But the concept behind is really important. The concept is that kids should actually know how to defend themselves. It's about their self-defense, or whether they should know the good touch and the bad touch. I think that it's going to educate our kids in a lot of different ways. And the best part is that since every kid is on their gadget these days, I think once they're going to see kids doing some amazing stunts on screen, in cinema, I think they would want to do the same as well.
Right, and Shazad, why this makes me so happy, because unfortunately there are still thousands and thousands of families in Pakistan where the parents are not comfortable to talk directly to their children about self-defense in cases of harassment or assault, for that matter, where you talked about good touch and bad touch. Not a lot of parents really want to do that. So with this type of media content, I think you are definitely delivering the message without being having to be intimate, for that matter, like in this way, right? So for all the parents out there who still are a little shy to talk about it, at least make sure that you expose your children to this type of content so that this information does get to them.
Exactly. So without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we're lucky now that we've actually been joined by the star cast of the film Azan over here. First up, we're very lucky that we've actually been joined by an international karate player, ladies and gentlemen. He's won many medals for Pakistan himself. He is Muhammad Adnan Aslam Saab. Hello, sir. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning.
Walaikum assalam. Thank you very much. Good morning.
Thank you very much for joining us. Wonderful to have you.
Thank you very much. You are inviting me to this show. I am very grateful to you.
Thank you very much, sir. The pleasure is all mine. And alongside Muhammad Adnan, ladies and gentlemen, we've actually been joined by one of the cast member of the
One
film
of the Karate
Azan,
Kids.
and she is Miss Isha Salman. Hello, assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Walaikum assalam. I'm good. How are you?
Absolutely perfect. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you. And alongside Isha, ladies and gentlemen, we've actually been joined by the Karate Kid himself. He is Mr. Arham Adnan. Hello, assalamu alaikum. Good morning.
Walaikum assalam. I am fine. Thank you.
That's good. Thank you very much for joining us. So first things first, let's get the conversation started with Mr. Adnan over here. So Adnan bhai, tell us a little about this film. You happen to be one of the cast members as well, and then since you are the master of karate, so you have a bigger responsibility on your shoulders. Let us know about the film a little bit, and then we'll move on.
Yeah, first of all, I would like to tell you about this movie, that this is the very first time in Pakistan we are going to launch an Islamic and martial art based movie.
Okay.
And
What
this
do
is
we mean by when we say Islamic and martial arts?
Islamic mean we will
Islamic values
yes,
based on
Islamic
Islamic
values based on Islamic. We will show some spiritual values of our Islam, and this is the fight between good peoples and the bad peoples.
Right. That's how it
goodness with evilness with.
And good always wins, right?
Yes, definitely. And the main beauty of this movie is that the main leading roles are the kids, and the kids which are the expert in martial arts. They will show different martial arts stunts, and you will see that will be a grateful picture for you.
Of course, we can't wait. But, how did you come up with this idea? Because, of course, we do realize this is something we need to talk about, and some people are talking about it, but to make it into a movie, and that too with kids.
Actually, I will give credit to our director, Sardari Raza Sahab, because that was the idea of our director. And after he discussed with me, and I appreciated his subject or his movie, because this is the very first time he is going to do something other than routine, because as you know that we are
Okay, what is routine? Okay.
routine
Let's
means
talk
actually
about
our movies or our dramas, they are just based on a love triangle or Saspo, just like fires. Nothing we are doing other than. So it's a very different, unique or main thing that we usually look Indians or Chinese movie, and we appreciated their martial arts stunts. Inshallah, you will see the martial arts stunt you will never ever seen in even Pakistani movies or even Pakistani
nice.
dramas.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
I think
So-
it's wonderful, and adding on to that as well, it's always very difficult to shoot such action scenes.
definitely, yes.
And for that, you really need a lot of equipment. You really need a lot of people, technicians, stunt artists as well, and stunt doubles as well.
Yes,
for
yes, yes,
example,
yes.
so working with kids, you obviously have to be very protective. One,
Yes.
obviously, it's your son in the movie.
Yes, yes, yes.
You really do not want anybody to get hurt as well. So, you being an expert yourself, how are you guys working on to getting the real action onto the screen as well? Because that's the most difficult part.
Actually, after taking the audition from all over the Pakistan, our director chose very talented martial artists, and not only my kid, even my daughter, my brother, he is also the part of this movie.
Very nice.
Or they are our directors very much dedicated, or we will try to give our best, especially whichever specialty that is martial art. And the main thing is that the kids are not expert in acting as well. So nowadays we are working on in weak areas, and inshallah they will be good actor as well.
Inshallah, of course,
Inshallah.
no doubt in that. So let's move on to our star Ishal over here. Ishal, when they came to you with the idea that do you want to be in a film, what did you think?
Obviously, I think to join this film because that was looking so funny.
Oh,
Looking so
cute.
fun.
So looking so fun. Okay. So did you ever think you want to be an actor? Because you had already learned karate, right?
Yeah,
Okay. You have a belt as well.
yeah.
Which one?
Orange belt, basically, is the third
very
level
nice.
of martial arts.
So were you excited that now you get to practice your favorite arts into a movie?
Yeah,
Yeah. And do you know a little bit about the story? Can you leak some secrets for us?
not too much.
Oh.
Okay, what's the name of your character which you will be playing in the film?
My character's name is Aigua.
Aigua?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so, and what is she supposed to do? Is she fighting against the bad, or is she the bad?
She is bad and
Okay.
Okay.
So
you're
she
the
already knows,
villain.
but she do not want to give it away as well.
She's smart.
She knows, she's very smart, but she's not willing to give away the character as well. Which is why let's move on to Arham now. So Arham, what kind of character will you be playing in the film?
I am doing a negative character.
Okay.
Snake.
And you are a
Snake.
snake.
Snake name is Viper.
Viper, okay.
How
So
is it
I think that the character actually resembles a character from Kung Fu Panda as well.
Oh,
but
yes.
and speaking about that, do you actually want it to be a snake, or do you want it to be that tiger, or do you want to be the Kung Fu Panda or something?
I want to be a tiger.
You want to be the tiger?
Very
With all of those different moves and kicks as well. So how hard is it? Because you're working with your father would want you to do perfectly well as well. So does he train you every single day that aajo chalo tayari karte hain?
Yeah,
Huh? And then do you do it with all your heart?
yeah.
Okay, so tell us one small dialogue from your script as well. What is the snake? How does the snake speak?
Snake speak.
You have to give him because
Something.
let me try to explain it better.
Yeah.
So Shahzad over here, he gives his voice for movies, all right.
Yeah.
So if it's a cartoon movie, he's going to make funny voices for the character. So your character, does it have a funny voice, or does it have a special accent, or you just gonna do it?
I just gonna do it.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
What about you, Vishal?
Yeah.
Can you read us a line from one of your scripts, or can you just act out one of your favorite
They
lines?
didn't tell any kind of dialogue in the script yet.
Okay, what is your favorite movie otherwise? Like, for example, if it's Barbie, for example, if it's Mean Girls or something, do you know a dialogue?
That's that one.
Which one?
We can be heroes.
We Can Be
We
Heroes.
Can Be Heroes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a good film, and I've watched it as well. Which is why let me come back to Mr. Adnan over here. So Adnan bhai, speaking about Kung Fu Panda, we have seen that karate masters are always very elderly. In whatever film you're going to watch, may it be the Jackie Chan one, the Karate Kid
Yes,
we were
yes.
talking about, may it be the animated Kung Fu Panda one, you see the master's just almost 100 years old, and he's just waiting for some good student to step up so that he can
And take the
teach.
legacy.
Yeah, and take the legacy forward as well. So you being so young, how does because on screen I believe your character is going to be very different. So are they going to make you go very elderly, or is it the same way you?
No,
be
no,
in
no.
the
I will remain same in just like it.
Okay.
Or definitely there are two groups. The one group is for good guys, and the second are the evil guys. And there are 5 characters in good side and the 5 in the evil side.
Please share the character.
Yes. Actually, they were Ishal as Iguana. Iguana, basically there are the different parts of different dragons.
Iguana is
which
that
are-
lizard, right?
Iguana is
Oh,
lizard.
got it,
Yes,
got
she will act just like Iguana. And yes, it's a very
It's a lot of
difficult.
work, man.
It's a very difficult. Arham is play as a viper, just like it move will be just like a snake. He fight will just like a snake.
Wow.
He will show very difficult stunts, and we are working on it.
Wow.
Or inshallah, there are different characters, very difficult characters, and you will see first time in our any Pakistani movie.
That's
And we
wonderful,
want
but
you
why do you drift away from my question? You know,
Yes,
tell us, share with us all the characters, negative or positive, that okay, these characters we have in our film, so that you know, for all of those people who are watching our show today, they might anticipate about the film as well, because it looks interesting.
Okay, actually, first of all, I would tell you about the scripts.
Yeah.
Actually, script is almost ready, but it still didn't
It's not
hand it
with you.
over. Yes.
Okay.
So dialogue is not prepared yet. But actually, there are 5 characters. The one in is aqua and the different types, and the 5 positive. And the main beauty is that the title, the character they are playing is the title name AZAAN. That will become Azan.
Azan, yes.
When they will make a group, and we will show that Azan. And Azan is playing a very main important role for the spiritual powers, the spiritual values.
Wow.
Okay, that's really interesting.
Especially when they fight with the Satan, because the evil group, they are followers of Satan.
Okay.
So in this movie, the spiritual Islamic touch will be given as well, or martial arts especially.
And people will
But
get
I
to
like-
learn a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
And you know, I like where you said that you've shown let's say the villains to be worshippers of Satan, for that matter. And I respect the fact that you did not categorize them into another religion, because kids don't need
Yeah,
to learn
yes,
that,
definitely,
right? They
yes,
don't need to learn hate.
Yeah.
But now, you guys, Ishal and Arham, serious talk, okay? So you know the movie is about to be self-defense and, you know, teaching people how to just, you know, use the moves to save themselves from bad people. Do you realize how important it is, the message of the movie?
Yes.
Okay, so do you think it's going to change someone's life watching your movie?
Yeah.
How?
Because they will see the Islamic movie and according to martial arts.
So you're saying maybe they'll learn some things from you guys?
Yes.
Yeah, there's too much respect in
Oh,
that.
nice.
Yeah.
Discipline too.
But you know,
Discipline too,
whatever
very
you,
nice.
Arham, you know, whatever you're going to learn on the sets of the film, you cannot come back home and do the same with your younger sibling. Yeah,
You
hey,
can't be a
I'm a
snake at
viper, come
home."
on. You know, I'm going to beat you or something like that. Please make sure that you don't do that, all right?
Okay?
Okay, yeah.
Not even on your friends. But you guys, thank you, Shazad, for reminding me with your action as well. You know, you being an iguana and you being a viper, can you guys do some moves for us, probably?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, brilliant. Who's going to go first?
You sure?
Okay.
Okay.
Just
yeah,
don't
you
move a lot, because you have the mic and the wire, so just
Yeah.
stay in that position and do it.
Okay, but please
think
make
that
sure
will
that
be
you don't
hard.
hit your foot onto the table as well, yeah. We have a little bit of restriction over here. Ishal, you probably want to just,
yes.
you know, keep yourself a little back,
Ah.
because he
I
does
need
not
to
know where the kick's going to land. Yeah, please.
Okay, so how are you going to do it?
Yeah, come on. Oh. Oh, really?
Ah.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, I, think we
like
should do that again. Can we have a solo of
Can we
these
have a
guys?
zoom
Well,
in
yeah.
on him, please?
Yeah, zoom in.
I remember you're
I
very
think it was wonderful. It was just, wow, you did it
Chalo,
phenomenally
let's
well.
do it. Now it's only you on the screen.
Wow.
Oh, superstar!
Yeah,
Love
that's-
it, love it.
Wow, that's
Absolutely
wonderful.
amazing.
So what
Ishal, are
about
you
you,
ready?
Ishal?
That my character is on the
wanna-
floor.
Oh,
I will do it.
Can
You
we
have
do?
to remove the mic, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think.
No,
we
it's
can
all
do
right.
that,
So then I think it's best that you keep on sitting as well. We'll
So
do it
sorry,
later
we'll
on.
do it after the show, okay? Okay, but I'm pretty sure it's even better. I mean, it's equally good as
Yes,
Arham's as well.
definitely. His
Yeah,
character
I'm
is also very amazing.
Yeah,
I
very
think I
good.
like your character already.
Ah, so good, so good.
Huh?
Okay, so moving back to you, Mr. Adnan.
Yes.
Do we have a date to when it will be available for everyone, or when you guys start
When are you
shooting?
guys going to start shooting?
Actually, in the month of, I think in the month of this, at the end of this month, we will start shooting.
Okay.
Or especially first, we will try to make a teaser for our movie.
Yes. So
And after that, definitely, it's the main thing. After the teaser, we will make some maybe press release here, or we will working for to increase the noise level of this movie.
okay.
Because a different object and the unique object, and we need to promote it as well.
That is
Exactly.
true. But you
That's-
have to take on your social media journey
Yes,
very
yes.
strongly with this
Yes,
as
yes.
well, because you have to engage everyone and keep telling them that this is coming out, you know, stick to
Yes,
this
yes.
and blah, blah, blah. So best of luck for that, because I really want this to, well, sort of prosper. I love the story. I love the stars in it, and I can't wait to see you guys on screen.
Wow, I
Sure,
think
thank you
that
very much.
I believe that it's going to be wonderful, and for all of those people who are actually at the backbone of this entire team, I believe that they came up with such an amazing topic, which we really need to come across, even within the cinemas as well, so that there is a greater impact on all those children who are out there as well, and not just that, since it will talk about our Islamic values as well. I think it's beautiful to get a reminder of such sort as well. But thank you very much for joining us.
You're
If there's
welcome.
anything you would want to say, please go ahead. Talk to our audience so that.
Yeah, definitely, I must say to our audience that we are going to make some different thing just for you. So please, whenever this movie will launch, please do come and watch our movie in cinemas.
Yeah,
Inshallah.
Alhamdulillah, and we hope so as well that that COVID is gone and there's no third wave, and that cinemas
Yes.
open up as well, because I heard that from 15th of March probably the dine-in would start within the restaurants as well. I'm not
I've
sure.
heard, it's
yeah,
not
I'm not
sure,
sure
huh.
whether it's true or not, but I think it's wonderful. Ishal, do you want to say something?
Do you want to say, give
Anything.
a message to anyone who's watching right now?
Even
No,
to your
nothing
parents.
much.
Do you want
Your
to tell your
parents?
parents that you love them?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
This
go
is your
ahead.
camera,
Yeah,
go
this is your
ahead.
camera. Tell them that you love them.
Yeah, I really love them.
Oh, that's
she's
wonderful.
being
What about you?
shy.
Do you want to tell your father you love him? Okay, do you love your father more or do you love your mother more?
He's like,
Equally.
what is
Obviously
this
both. I
question?
know that it's the most stupid question being asked from kids, but I just wanted to know what's your preference? When your mood's right with father, I think you like your father. When your mood's right with your mother, I think you love your mother more, right?
I think he's just being safe with his answers as well. But that's very smart. Thank you so much for being here, you guys. And we cannot wait for you to come again and finally share the trailer of the movie,
Sure,
inshallah.
inshallah.
And then we'd love to be in the screening as well.
Exactly. And
Thank
Shida, you know what? With movies like these where we're talking about karate, we actually need to consider that there will be a lot of VFX and special
course.
effects work in it as well. And to find the right person for VFX and special effects is something which is difficult, not just in Pakistan, but I think all over the world, because then it will definitely kind of give you that parameter of, okay, how good the film is. Because if the VFX, the effects are good, people would know that this is a movie which we really need to go out and watch.
Yes,
but God forbid if there's something wrong with the VFX or the special effects, people know already that, hey, you know what, we really don't need to go step outside.
Yeah, and
watch
just to
the
give
film.
an example of that, Wonder Woman 2 was a disaster. It was so bad, you guys. I love Wonder Woman. I love Gal Gadot. But here's the thing. I mean, after watching the first one and then you watch the second one with such messed up visuals and whatnot, you really wish it didn't come out. So you're right. It does play a big role. But
Yeah.
Shahzad, I'm really proud that a lot of Pakistanis are actually, well, venturing into this field and then doing a lot of great work. Like Lareb, the daughter of Atallah Isakhel
Exactly.
Khan Sahab. And then, the team which made Alayar, the Legend of the Markhor,
Yes.
an animated series. It
Team
was
Bahadur.
amazing, right? The Bahadur for that matter.
Yes.
I even like, so sorry, but I even like the Safeguard cartoons with the Dirtu and everything.
Wow, wow.
It's nice, it's nice. So,
Yeah, I don't
well,
know whether Dirtu is nice or not, but ladies and gentlemen,
The
there are a lot of
visuals are
people
nice.
doing some wonderful work, and we always want to share this platform with such amazing, talented people who bring pride to Pakistan. Now, there's this amazing person who's actually working for Disney from Pakistan. Let's see what she has to share with all of us.
but
We're going
after
for a
this
short
very
break.
short break, yes, stay
Good
tuned.
morning.
Good morning.
Sitar is a plucked stringed instrument used in Pakistani classical music. The instrument flourished under the Mughal Empire. Sitar is named after a Persian word, setar, meaning 3 strings. It derives its distinctive timbre and resonance from sympathetic strings.
Welcome back to World This Morning, ladies and gentlemen, with Shahzad Khan and Shahzad Hashmi, who both of us sort of grew up watching Sesame Street.
Yeah.
I said that because Shahzad has a story to share.
Yeah, so I was just, at home the other day, and I was, kind of, you cannot really watch television now because when there are kids around, they obviously want to see their, I don't know, Coco Melon and, such brands in Sesame
Yes.
Street. And I got to know that One Direction has actually come together to, just sing a song for one letter, and that is you, and that too for Sesame Street. And not just that, even Ed Sheeran and everybody is doing so. And it might be probably because of the fact that, nobody's actually going to concerts these days. So they're pretty much doing everything which is coming their way. But the song itself was good. And for babies or kids who are out there, ladies and gentlemen, I think that this is how they learn as well. My little angel, I think she's somewhat around 2 now. So whenever I get a chance to see her, she's like usually Johnny, and she knows how to say yes, Papa.
Oh, cute.
And the best part over here is that she does not know a complete sentence. So
Yeah.
she would say Johnny, and then say yes, Papa. And then when it comes down to open your mouth, she will only say mouth. So I think it's very interesting. And that's how kids learn as well. But other than that, before heading out towards a short break, ladies and gentlemen, we were talking about how people are actually, Pakistanis are making a name for themselves and for our country and for our motherland outside Pakistan. And since we were talking about, we were in conversation with the star cast of the film Azan, which is going to be based on Islamic values and mixed martial arts and karate for kids so that they can take something away. I was just sharing that, that with such action films, there's a lot of work which needs to be done within VFX and special effects. And, we are glad that we have people from Pakistan who are doing wonderful job even at Disney.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
And luckily, we've been able to get our hands onto one of them as well. And which reminds me, Shahzad, just lately, Tom and Jerry, I don't know if it's out or not. So Chloe, the actress, is going to be a part of it. It's a live action movie. Yeah. So that made me realize a lot of work needs to go behind that as well. I mean, of course, us being the viewers of it, we only need to enjoy sitting at the expense of our sofas, right?
Yeah.
But the people who actually have to work on the caricatures for that matter and then combine the whole, because it's 2 different films which have to be combined. I mean, it's such a lot of work.
Have you heard the Earth song?
The Earth song?
Yeah.
No.
Because ladies and gentlemen, this is something that, people wouldn't realize because we're not really habitual of reading the, what do we call it, okay, I'll come back to that as well.
Okay.
Where towards the end of the film, they have these names and everybody. So
Credits?
Credits, yes. So imagine that, there are people like Kevin Hart, Ellen DeGeneres, Rock himself, all of these people are the voiceover artists for all of those characters as well. And there's a lot of hard work which goes in. So, but without any further ado, I think it's about time that we actually introduce our guest. But we're going to introduce her
through
by
her
the
work.
kind of work she's done. So please go ahead. Take a look, and once you guys will come back, we will be in conversation with somebody who's a special effects artist for Disney. Let's do that. Good morning. All right, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, we are lucky that we've actually been joined by Bisma Shiekh, who happens to be a filmmaker and a VFX artist. Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Walaikum assalam. Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure, Bisma, absolutely. Thank you so much for coming. So we just took a look at your work. It's amazing, mashallah.
Thank you.
Before we do get to what you, for all the other people to understand what you do, take us on a journey of how you felt like you need to study filmmaking and then, well, graphics and everything.
Sure. So I migrated to the UK when I was around 15, and I just finished my GCSE, and it was about time to choose my subjects for A levels, and I was very confused. Like most of the Pakistani kids, I was like, let's do accountancy. And then my dad was just like, oh, how about you do a film studies subject or a media subject?
And that's so unusual for a dad to say.
It is, 100%. And that's the point where I was like, okay, maybe let's give it a try. But it was never a priority, really.
Okay.
I started doing film as an A-level subject, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, was really good at it, and decided to do a degree in it. So I did, I went to Warwick and did my undergrad in film studies.
Very nice.
And then further went on to doing a master's in film and TV production. So obviously I've been building a strong educational background in it.
Absolutely. Does that help though?
It does.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, getting experience, learning, studying film really helps you understand how everything works.
Okay.
I guess people who just work without actually studying it would never actually understand the importance of like how things
The
work.
technicalities and everything.
What cinema is, what the history of the cinema is,
Yeah.
different stages of cinema. So people don't seem to understand that if you haven't studied it. So then when I did my masters, they were more practical based, working in studios and things like that. And while I was doing my masters, I actually did a lot of freelancing.
Okay.
I worked as a runner on the BBC shows. I worked on, there was I think there was a first musical, a Pakistani musical that was done in the UK, Ishq the Musical.
Okay.
Might have heard of it.
Okay.
So I worked as a costume assistant on that.
Okay.
And I actually learned a lot, you know, working how the whole stage works, how theatre works. So it was a very good experience for me, actually.
Wow.
So what I'm hearing is, Shahzad, about Bisma, it's passion, right? I mean, who would otherwise just really want to, for the sake of getting experience on your hand and then having to, well, exercise that later, just work for, I mean, you know, for fun as well,
Of
you
course,
can say,
yeah.
not for...
And you have to do so because, you know, I remember, you know, when I embarked on my journey, I actually used to host shows for free. And, you know, so that there will be a time one day that, you know, somebody's going to pay me. So then I think that the first ever amount I received was 5,000 rupees for hosting a show. And then it kept on moving on. And, you know, you never look back. But
Right, it's about passion.
yeah, but that's not the thing. I think, Shiza, this is a question for you and for Bisma both as well. And that is that since you've studied journalism yourself, but when we are on screen, you know, there are a lot of things which we might have studied, we want to do them, but then the system does not allow us to, you know, kind of practice those values as well. Same is the case with filmmaking. You know, you study according to the latest techniques, but when you get into a studio, you know, a budget nahi hai yaar, you know, there are all these problems, and you know, everybody wants to be have a set of Game of Thrones, but finally they just have to put in probably a little bit of canes into the seat, so it might resemble that. So, you know, having those challenges within the working space, how do you think that it has helped you evolve and grow and make sure that you now know how to use whatever is available?
So basically, when I started, as I told you, I worked for free as well.
Yeah.
It was just about getting experience, because that's how it should be.
Naukri mil jaye bas kahin.
Exactly. Yeah,
That's
so
a good thing.
Yeah, so I guess it's from the very early on stages, I guess, when you're studying, get as much experience as you want. So when the time comes when you are a graduate, when it's time to look for jobs, you have actually enough experience to work on a set. Because once you know the technicalities of a set, you can make something of your own very easily.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's what me and my brother did, actually. We made up our own production company.
Wow.
And we specialize in making music videos. So we work with young artists within the UK, the upcoming artists, and we sort of bring them out.
Nice.
There are specific channels in the UK where they publish the works of the upcoming artists.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, so obviously we didn't really start up with like massive equipments. It's a very low-key thing that we started with. A very basic DSLR camera, a Canon one, a tripod.
Okay.
And that was about it, really.
Oh, nice.
So that's how we started.
Probably 2-3 lenses as well.
I guess I just started with the kit lens.
That's it.
That was about
Wow.
it.
Wow.
Yeah.
But, you know, that is, of course, that being your own company, you must have, a certain amount of freedom to do what you want. But then you being the VFX coordinator for Disney, how much creative freedom do you have?
That's a very good question, actually.
I really want to know.
It's completely two different worlds, actually,
Yes.
because I have my own company where I'm the creative director.
Yes.
Me and my brother, we do everything, whatever we want. But when you work in a big institute, it's like you have to work with other people's ideas.
Yeah.
You're just thrown into a project, and you have to pick it up. You have to work with it.
Yeah.
So it is quite challenging, I would
Yes.
say, because obviously you have to, because you work with people who have won Oscars.
Yeah.
You work with
Is it
very
intimidating?
a little bit, yes.
Okay.
It is, yeah. So you work with very like highly named people. You work with, they sit next to you and you're like, wow, like am I sitting with this person right now? So I guess this is just about, I think for me it's more about learning from them. So sort of like picking up the tips that they're giving me or like whatever, even if I'm sitting in a meeting, it's just about listening to them, their creative process,
Right.
picking things up from them, learning the production process from them.
Okay.
And then, yeah, and then I sort of implement those things onto my own, in my own company.
It's wonderful, but I believe I have a very tricky question for you, and it's very hard to justify. And let's see what your reply will be.
Sure.
For somebody, because I have my own production house as well, and we make short films and ad films and whatnot.
Sure.
But obviously, you know, when I come down to PTV, you know, I'm not shooting. I'm right in front of the camera as well. So there's no conflict of interest. Now, for somebody who's working at Disney and there's something which is under process, and things are going on and you're working on a newer project, and all of a sudden you go back to your production house and you're like, hey, you know what, I'm short of ideas. Okay,
Why don't
probably,
I-
you know what, the same thing I'm doing at Disney, probably I can just apply a little bit over here as well. How do you make sure that you don't do that? Because that's just morally unethical,
It's,
right?
yeah, it's very morally unethical. We obviously sign NDAs when we we work on anything. We're not allowed to talk about it. I can't even speak to my family about what I do. So it's about, I think for me, because I specialize in music videos in my company, and in Disney we work on Hollywood films.
Right.
So it's two different genres, completely different.
Yes.
So I guess that's where I can differentiate my work. I can sort of, and obviously with Disney, it's a whole feature film that I'm working on. With my production, it's like a smaller production. When I'm running out of ideas, what I would do is I would actually go around and watch music videos of other cinemas.
That
So I
makes
would go on to like Hollywood
Or Iranian
music
cinema
video.
for that matter. or
Exactly,
French,
yeah. Korean is such a big thing.
Right.
Indian music
Korean
videos.
pop, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like so much variety out there that I haven't really had the chance to really mix things up.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, but Bisma, you know what I think? So for a person who does work in VFX or work for, I don't know what the right term is, work for VFX. So when the movies do come out, so I'm now really excited for King Kong versus Godzilla, rooting for Godzilla, which I know maybe might not win. Anyway, so it must be different for you because, so let me explain it better. We are taken on a real journey, sort of, but you know what goes behind it, the animations and everything. Are you on the same journey as we are while you're watching the movie, the end result?
It's actually really strange because when we go to the cinema to watch the final product,
Yes.
it's like a feeling of satisfaction that we get.
Yeah.
Because we're like, oh, I worked on that shot, I worked on this shot. And when you see that, you're like, oh my God, like you sort of realize the effort that's been behind it. But I guess a normal audience would not be able to understand that.
Right,
Exactly.
right.
So that's just a proud moment. I mean, whether a film is a hit or a flop, that's a whole different story. But the satisfaction that you get when you see a shot, it's just amazing. Honestly, it's just
Exactly.
a different feeling.
It's like, you know, that for all of those hours you've put in, for all of that hard work you've put in, or for all of that new skill set you actually opted for, it's just right in front of your eyes. And I think
Must
it
be
is
so nice.
the same way, and the feeling is mutual as well. But there's one more thing, and that is that, you know, when you're working on such lengthy projects, obviously, you know, the project manager will give you a chunk of work that, okay, you know, this is what you're supposed to do. And then at that very moment while you're working on it, you really do not have a complete understanding of how it may come out or how the audience might perceive it. Because for the very first drama serial I did, I was acting and I didn't knew, even when we stopped shooting, I didn't knew that I was doing a negative character. even though that the drama was a big hit, it was in India as well and whatnot. But I didn't realize it that I was doing a negative role. Well, eventually, you know, my producer or my director had to tell me. So, you know, how many times did you come across a situation where you were doing these frame by frame things and you didn't have any idea, okay, that, you know, where will they be placed within the film or within a music video? And when eventually it came out, you were like, oh, that's what I was actually doing. Did that actually happen to you?
It has actually happened to me, yes, that's correct. I think the bigger the production is, the more it happens.
Yeah.
Because obviously when you are thrown into a project, you're not really sure what's going to happen.
And you
from-
cannot ask questions again and again. You're like, okay, yaar, bas kaam kar lo, apna chup karke.
Exactly, yeah. You have to be very like focused on your work.
Yeah.
Just do that. So yeah, the project I was working on recently, when I was thrown into it, I had no idea about it. Like literally
Okay.
no clue. And obviously you're a bit scared of asking questions because like you're like, oh, there's such big people. Like I don't want to be asking a director about certain
Yeah.
questions. So you just literally sit there quietly in a corner, just do your work.
Right.
And I guess over the course of the work, you sort of figure out, okay, this is actually what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But then I would actually I would say that it's better to ask questions rather just to be shy and just, you know, sit there.
Yeah.
It's always good to ask questions. But I do understand it can be intimidating. And you're like, oh, shit, I don't want to ask anything.
But clarity is definitely better.
100%, yeah.
So Bisma, now, you know what, you are, and I'm telling you that because I have been, of course, in conversation with hundreds of people on a daily basis here. You are an inspiration to a lot of young girls because Pakistani girls now really want to work and study out of the box. So what would you say to girls who want to opt for your field? What should they study? How should they go about it? If you have any advice, please let them know.
Sure. So I guess the first thing is obviously study film, television. I think a lot of people just after whatever they've studied, they just start working.
Right.
When you have an educational background, you understand things a lot better. You know the history of things.
Okay.
You understand the technicalities of things, as I said earlier. So definitely study it. Even
Okay.
if it's a short course, if in production, in academic course or whatever it is, study it.
Okay.
And also try to get as much experience as you can. Whether it's an internship, you have to sit on a set for 16 hours,
Yes.
20 hours, don't be afraid.
Do it.
You have to put in a lot of work. I worked for a company for free for 4 years.
Okay.
Didn't get a single penny.
But now it's paying off, isn't it?
Of course, yeah. So I guess it's just about getting as much experience as you can,
Right.
making contacts, 100%.
Yeah.
Networking is so important.
Very important, especially in this field.
Okay.
It's very, very important, networking. Approach people.
Okay.
If you don't ask, you don't get.
Don't be shy.
Yes, don't be shy. Ask them any question. Even if you want, can I work on the show? All they can say is yes or no.
Yeah, it's either of
Exactly.
the two, right?
So just always ask.
I think this
right.
is a life lesson anyways as well, you know, and this is something I keep on telling people that there's no harm in asking whatever you think is in you, just make sure that you ask, and yeah, that's the simplest answer. Either they're going to say yes or either they're going to say no as well. But one last thing which I wanted to ask you was that while I was working for another private channel, you know, so we had a VFX department over there, and you know, they always had their own terms. Oh no, boss, hum subah mein nahi aa sakte, you know, we have to work late at night, and you know, they're very sleazy on their chairs as well, right under the table with headphones. And you know, they're literally computer geeks. That's what I used to call them as well. They're experts with whatever work they were doing. Is it the same with you guys over there as well? Because professionally, the timings are very different. You guys love to work at night, you know, just be by yourself, you know, your creative space. Is it really like that?
It is to some
Okay.
extent, yes, it
So the
is.
stereotype is right.
It is, yeah. I guess because the artists, they sort of like to have their own time, their own
that's
space.
Yeah.
And obviously because they worked on such high profile things, so they like a little bit of, you know, nakhra.
Privacy, yeah.
They like that. But yeah, they have that, it's there. But I guess not as much as like, I'm not going to turn up to work at a certain time.
Yeah, yeah.
It is. But I guess it's the job of the production team to, you know, get them running.
But I think it's just
rolling.
probably because you're working in England.
Maybe.
You know, people
Might be
in
the case,
Pakistan
yeah.
Is a little
really can
different.
take that a little bit on an easy note as well. But thank you very much, Bisma, for joining us. It was wonderful to be in conversation. Not just that you happen to be a wonderful VFX artist as well. You're a wonderful human, and you're
Thank you
making
so much.
Pakistan proud as well.
Thank
Wonderful.
you so much.
All the best of luck for your future endeavors.
Thank you
Ladies and
very much.
gentlemen, this is something like every other day. We love bringing to you something new, something that inspires a lot of people, right? I really hope this did because, you know, Shazad, every now and then I get a lot of girls writing to me asking me for career advice, and I am not the right person. It sort of bothers me because, you know what, I don't have a lot of knowledge about things. So this is my way
Probably
or
you can
our
write
way.
me, you know.
Okay. But this is sort of our way of getting your answers to you guys. If you still have any questions or queries about this, do let us know on our Facebook page with the name of,
World This Morning.
on Twitter,
World This Morning without a G.
on YouTube, it's World This Morning on the PTV World channel, and the repeat of this one you can catch at
5 past midnight, ladies and gentlemen. Till the next time, look after yourselves. 1, 2, 3.
Good morning. Stay safe.
Bye.